Hello, welcome to this video. I am going to be giving you an energy update, really, I guess an energy forecast about what we're going to be looking at in 2025. I'm going to be doing this intuitively by using my own intuition about it. And I'm also going to be using a divination tool. So I think you'll enjoy this a lot. I'm also going to be doing some reading into it through by the I Ching, by looking at the gates specifically for a couple of the eclipses that are coming up, because I think that's going to really define this quarter. And we're going to focus on miracles. So stay tuned. Hello, and welcome to the Charmed Life podcast. This podcast is all about magic, metaphysics, mysticism, and the unconditional love of the universe. And I am your host. My name is Tricia Carr. Welcome to this episode. I'm really excited to dive into 2025. Now, I have to say that, first of all, I'm doing this halfway through January of 2025. And what's kind of cool about that, I think, is that we're going to see that I actually cast runes, and the only rune that came up, I did it before we started so that I wouldn't be taking too much of the time casting the runes. But anyway, the only rune that actually came faced up that I can see in the spread is the first one. And so I already know what the first one is just because of casting them. And it is apropos. It is appropriate. So we're going to look into this. And as I said, we're going to focus on miracles. We're going to look at how you can harness the energies of the cycles of the season and the cosmic energies of the season, as well as the cosmic energies that are coming up. I'm going to take it by quarters. So first, second, third quarter. And then we're going to look at an overarching theme. So first of all, this is both live on my YouTube channel as well as it's published on my podcast called Charmed Life. And I am regularly going live now as a live podcast, posting it also as replay on both the YouTube channel and on the podcast. And so you can expect to see me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, at least as far as I can tell. We're going to see how it goes. But if you're here live right now, I would love for you to tell me hello in the comments. Let me know where you're coming in from, what you are feeling about this year. And also, if you would like to ask any questions, I'm available for that. And we'll see. Maybe it'll be a good time to do some of the readings that are for the folks that are here live. And Tracy's here. Hi, Tracy. Thanks for being here. Hello. All right, well, let's dive into the energies of 2025. Oh, Tiffany's here too. Hello, Tiffany. Nice to see you. Okay, 2025. So I'm first going to tap in, and even though, again, like I said, I already have the rune that is looking up at me. And for those who are not familiar with runes, I'll talk about what those are here in just a sec too. At any rate, okay, so 2025, the first quarter, that will be January, February, and March. And so what we have here is a spike of challenging energies in January. And that's happening all over the planet. I am in Los Angeles, and that has been happening in my literal neighborhood with the wildfires. And there's also still political and social unrest and challenge and all of that that's going on. And so then what we're moving through, just to give it a nice arc, in February, we kind of have it's just almost a coasting energy, but what's coming in as an undercurrent is the opportunity, almost like it shows me like it's at the ground level. You're feeling hope seeping up again. And then by the time we get to March, we actually have, maybe we're starting to taste hope, like hope has come higher up into our energy body, to maybe even the throat and to where it can be feeling like I could begin to activate in hope. But in March, in March, we have some opportunities. That's when we have an eclipse season occurring in March. We have some opportunities to really do some of the cleanup. It's like we're going to be well resourced by the time March comes around. And then we actually have the opportunity to dig in and look at how we can benefit from the karma, the lessons, the challenge that we have been moving through, And by the time March comes around, we're actually well resourced to do that work. And so what I mean by well resourced, this is so important. If I may take a moment to do a little teaching here. All of us have trauma. And I see a trend in the coaching and healing industry where a person might call themselves a trauma coach. And maybe they are, of course. Maybe they are well trained. Trauma is a very fragile, delicate work. And it really needs to stay in the scope of, honestly, licensed therapists. And even, I'm a hypnotherapist and I have a degree in mind-body psychology. I only work with a certain kind of trauma. I don't work with really activated trauma, and I don't push people, a licensed therapist wouldn't either, push people to dig into trauma that is being held within them. And so what I mean by that is, on a personal level, just to define what trauma is, it is a moment that occurs where your senses cannot process everything that is coming in. So you can imagine that if there was a violent event that occurred to you or in front of you, your senses cannot unpack all of that, cannot process all of it in that moment, nor can your nervous system. So it gets stored for processing later when you are more resourced to easily, well, maybe easy isn't the right word, healthfully and with strength, the trauma will naturally unpack. Now, if you are in a supportive therapeutic environment, then you get more resourced, and you're borrowing the resource of the therapeutic process. So you have both your therapist who is holding that space for you, and you have the therapeutic alignment. And then you are able to do a more expedited healing, and then the trauma will be able to just basically, like an ice cube taken out of the freezer, and to calmly and easily melt away by the support of the environment. And it just happens then naturally. So I'm sharing all of this is for a deeper lesson, but also to see that basically this first quarter is kind of about that chaos, that turbulence, difficulty that is happening now. And when something is happening now, it calls up our deeper traumas. That's why people say we're triggered. So collectively, that's what has been happening. New traumas are occurring as well. And so then this is what I mean by the time we get to March, both the cycles, the collective energy, the neutrino field is going to be offering the resource of being able to go ahead and clean up that energy of trauma. Now, how we can do this among ourselves is to do our inner work first, and then have calm and compassionate conversations. Ooh, that's a good alliteration. Calm, compassionate conversations. And then that's how we can build that bridge, but it starts with us individually. So now for the reveal of what the rune that I pulled is. Oh, I should talk about what runes are. Runes, this is the little card that has runes on it. Runes are about 1,000 years older than tarot, and they are a system that are particularly from the Norse culture and also in the Celtic and British culture. They're very much a part of my culture, my ancestry, and they are wonderful for helping to support you as a divination tool to pull truth forward for you about personally what is happening. And they also really honor cycles. And this is one of the things that I love about runes, is how they do honor natural cycles, whether they're cosmic or in our earth nature. Because sometimes when we're thinking about manifestation and being spiritually high vibe and everything, we might take that too literally and think that we're never going to have cycles, you know what I mean, of either higher energy, lower energy, or challenge or trauma, or just that things are going powerfully our way. And so the runes help us to understand how to weather the weather, the cosmic weather. That's what I want to share with you. So they're often etched on either stone and or wood, and I have them on wood. So our rune for the first quarter of 2025, it looks like an H, and it is for Hagalaz. And Hagalaz means hail or hailstorm. And unfortunately for, again, my neighborhood, that has been a firestorm, sadly, very, very sadly. So hail is an interesting kind of offering from nature. Obviously, hail is causing destruction as it pelts the earth. And at the same time, that destruction is needed. If you think of hail, big pieces of hail pelting the earth, while the creatures, like the humans and the animals, have to hide and shelter from it, and plants are destroyed and the earth is destroyed, that destruction on the earth is also stimulating the nutrients of the earth so that as it can break things down, it can then also make it more available to yield a healthy harvest later. So that is what hail is offering to us. Now, the other wonderful things, in order for us to take the good kind of advantage from it, the offering to help us with miracles from the hailstorm that we are experiencing in the first quarter, is to call upon our own protection or fortification. We are able to find ourselves inner support and also to the support of those who are close to us, the support of that which we have already available to us. So if it feels like maybe I'm losing some things, or perhaps I'm plateau and I'm not gaining very much, then what I have, I am here to be grateful for and to find the strength and the grounding in that. Now, this is also a rune that we can use to create luck. So actually, luck magic. So this time when we might have the hatches battened down a little bit, especially in the January to February time, we can also, while we're battened down in the hatches and we're in our inner working, we can be focusing on luck magic and quick transformations, because hail is quick and forceful. And we can also find our inner strength to feel successful and powerful while navigating difficult situations. And while we're navigating a difficult situation and we are feeling successful at that, someone else that we love or someone else in the whole landscape of our ecosystem will be experiencing a difficult situation, maybe when we are not, but we have gained that strength. And so it also is basically the opportunity, Hagalaz, the hailstorm, the opportunity to break an unhealthy pattern. Because once again, think of that hail hitting the earth, breaking it down and shaking things up, shattering patterns. That is the gift of a difficult time. That is the gift of a hailstorm that we have going on January through March. Now, let's look at March a little more closely, because that is really proximate. So I'm going to take more time on especially this first quarter, because it's right here. And then I'm going to, I plan to do these updates regularly, but this is an overarching one, isn't it? So let's look at March, because March we have our first set of eclipses. And the first eclipse in March is March 13th and 14th, and it is, I'm moving my notes around for myself. It's a total lunar eclipse, and it is happening at a full moon. So it's March 13th and 14th, and I'll let you look up your time zone. I'm not mentioning the precise time that this is happening, because the overarching energies are covering those days anyway in the peak and post-shadow of it. And so what I'm going to highlight for us are actually the gates of the moon according to the I Ching. And if you're familiar with human design, these transits are a part of human design. And that's what I'm focusing on. There are plenty of people who are astrologers that focus on, the astrology of it. And this is a different kind of astrology of it. But I thought I would throw the flavor in of the thing that I really like. Now, I'll share with you also, in case you are familiar with human design, I'm a reflector. And so the transit field is something that reflectors actually feel and process more than any other time. We have no defense against it even. We have no filter between ourselves and the transit field. So that's another reason why I'm really wanting to highlight the gates, the transits for this time. So at any rate, March 13th and 14th. Now, the moon will be transiting through that time, gates 64, 6, and 18. I'm going to focus on gates 6 and 18 because 64 is mostly on the pre-shadow side of it. 6 is right at the peak of when this full lunar eclipse is occurring. And then 18 is kind of the resolve of the energies. So there will be a full moon that happens on the 13th. I'm in Pacific time zone. It's happening almost at midnight. It's at 11:55 p.m. So it's like kind of at that crossover point. That's when the full moon kind of strikes, but it's really the full moon is happening this whole period here. And when the eclipse is happening and also when the full moon is actually striking, the moon will be in gate 6. And gate 6, what a beautiful gate this is. Gate 6, the shadow of gate 6 is conflict. And so again, thinking of our Hagalaz rune, just observing what, where the strife, challenge, conflict has been going on in our recent times. So if we see the shadow that is being amplified by the moon receding in her light from us, that's what an eclipse is, and it's a total eclipse. That means that we are going to be, we have the opportunity to be very present with the shadow of conflict, meaning we can stand in the energy of it, allow ourselves to be okay with the discomfort of conflict, face maybe our fears of conflict, confrontation and conflict. I know I have those. Of course, we all do. And to be able to find our strength in that so that we could move to the gift of gate 6, which is diplomacy. Ooh, diplomacy, what a beautiful word, what a beautiful ministry if this is something that is a part of what you do in life. And it is something that we all have available to us, of course. So let's look at what diplomacy is. Diplomacy is honoring everyone's needs by, especially from the place of intellect and cognitive empathy. And what I mean by cognitive empathy is different than the empathy of like absorbing and feeling everything. It is going, I recognize and honor what it is that you need and what your challenges are and what your opinions are and what you are decreeing is important to you. I honor what you decree is important to you, what your challenges are, what your needs are. And these two sides have a conflict. So let's see, me as the diplomat of this, how I can bring an awareness that will find a way that we can all have a win-win-win, which takes us to the Siddhi, which is like the divine gift, Siddhi. And I'm referencing here the gene keys for the gate 6 shadow, gift, and Siddhi. And the gift of gate 6 is peace. So we move from conflict and we take everything about conflict that can lead us to diplomacy. And how beautiful. That is what we need, is diplomacy so that we can all be in peace. This is inner work that can give us the opportunity to shine that as an outer working. So that is our total lunar eclipse, the 13th and the 14th. And it's going to really be these energies. So what I would encourage you to do if you want to be really intentional about what you're doing in March to help us to move through this first quarter is to reflect and contemplate these energies of conflict, diplomacy, and peace. And I'm feeling like suggesting that you might even journal about diplomacy. And that could be the conflict that's within you, or what you might see for someone who's close to you, or any of the conflict that we are aware of. And so again, it's a total lunar eclipse. So when the moon is full and she's shining her light, what she has done is she's gone through approximately 29 days of gathering information from the sun and gathering information from the earth. And she is creating a calibration of that. And so when the moon is full, she is manifesting. She is showing you our manifestation, or collective manifestation, as the diplomat between the sun and the earth. And she's shining it for you. But this period, at least for a moment, we are going to basically not experience during the total eclipse. We're going to have the withdrawal of that emotional energy of manifestation, turning us into ourselves. And it can even make us create a sense of panic. But if we are very present to it, beautiful work can happen. So that is the first eclipse in March, coming out of this, excuse me, this, I should actually know before I move on, I want to say that after that gate 6, the moon moves into gate 18. And so kind of like the following through energies of it. And by the way, the moon changes gates every 6 to 8 hours, something like that. So that's why I'm kind of mentioning the gates that are around it. So gate 18 is the shadow of that is judgment. The gift is integrity. And the city is perfection. And I love that divine perfection. Divine perfection is everything's perfect because it's imperfect. Integrity is I am integrated, and my reality is able to agree with the reality, and I'm honest from that place. And then, of course, judgment is the space of removing compassion and having expectations that are more conditional, whether it's of ourselves or of another. So that's where we get to kind of finish up some energies after this eclipse in March. Then March 29th is our second eclipse, and this is going to be a partial solar eclipse. So partially, we will be losing some of our sense of life force that we receive, our nourishment. We're not really, but we have the sense for a moment that we have been left. It is this idea of when a solar eclipse is occurring, of Jesus on the cross, and Jesus says, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, which is, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And so when the sun is eclipsed from us, we feel forsaken by life. Now, it's just partial, so it's not going to be as dramatic, but it's still something that we're going to experience. Now, this solar eclipse, March 29th, again, another opportunity to clean up and benefit from the challenge we've had from this first quarter of January through March. This eclipse on March 29th, partial solar eclipse, will be in gates 17, just at the pre-shadow. That's just like right before it happens. Then it moves into gate 21. So gate 20, I'll focus on, gate 17, the shadow is opinion. Like that is a shadow. The gift is far-sightedness, so, being able to have an envisioning sense. And then the city, the divine gift, is omniscience, to be able to divinely see everything. So that is just pre-shadowing this partial solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is really going to be in gate 21. And so the shadow of gate 21 is control. And that Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani really turns us to, I'm out of control. I have been forsaken by life and life force. And by the way, control overall, if I can just talk about this for ourselves, control is an illusion. We never have control, which is why we all came to listen to an energy forecast for 2025, because we want to feel like we have control, but we know we don't have control. So let's just try to release control altogether, or at least our insistence on it, because all that really does is create a lot of tension and anxiety within us. So the shadow of 21, that our partial solar eclipse in March of 2025, March 29th of 25, the shadow is control. The gift is authority. And what I love about this word authority is that the first 2 syllables is author. It means you work from your authorship. And in this case, too, we might let life or the universe or source energy, prime creator, be the author who is overseeing everything and trusting in authority. Now, I would say the inner work here is to really contemplate and be with your inner authority, because that is your true authority. What is going on outside of ourselves is not the true authority. What is going on inside of ourselves is the true authority. And then that will help us to connect powerfully, empowered, to what is going on outside, so that we can use that kind of clarity about where this outside authority is also just occurring. But our primary authority is inside oneself. And then the city of 21, which is again that energy of the March 29th partial solar eclipse, is valor. Ooh, isn't that beautiful? To be able to be on a path of valor and bravery that is well earned. And there is a humility, a humbleness that is with this valor as well, because it is a beautifully earned and like the hero's journey coming on the other side of that as valor. That is our first quarter. Now I'm going to look at the comments and take a sip of water in my live here. And let's see, we have Angela. Nice to see you too, Angela. Oh, how wonderful. Hi, Victoria. Oh, Victoria, we're going to come out victorious in this year, and we're going to create miracles with the energies that we have going on. And then let's see. Dang, she's beautiful. Oh, that must be for me. Well, thank you. We got this divine brothers and sisters. See you all in the legendary Mallorca for the reunion. Okay, wonderful. And then Alana says hi from Australia. Oh, did I actually hit a good time in Australia right now? I know it's hard to line up our time zones. Y'all are so far in the future. What I love about Australia and New Zealand is y'all are in the future, so I'm younger to you. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I just like to think about it. I'm a day younger when I'm talking to an Australian. It's super weird. It probably is not making any sense. But anyway. All right. We are moving on to our second quarter in 2025. Excuse me, one second. Well, I'll tell you what. Quarter 4 of 2024 was really challenging for me. And I'm still dealing with the cleanup of those energies. I lost my beloved soulmate, Kitty, on October 29th, and his, illness preceding that. And then I think from the grief of that, which I'm still in, and, I still have days where I cry my heart out because I miss him so desperately. But the immune system gets really lowered when you're in a bereavement period. So I got sick twice in December. Anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about all of us. And we are now in the second quarter of 2025. That will be April through June. I have a note of that because I was afraid I was going to forget what months, and I have to count them every time. April through June, our second quarter of 2025. Now, I haven't turned over the runes. I have them spread out here on my table where you can't see them. I'm going to turn over now. All right. So our rune for the second quarter of 2025 is Ansuz, and it was down. It was turned down, but it was turned the right way around. So what I do with runes, they can have indications of being upturned or backwards, and I feel into it intuitively, because sometimes it isn't for you to regard that. And actually, some of the runes, it doesn't matter. They don't have a reversed meaning. They just have one meaning, whether they're reversed or not. Ansuz does, though. Is that right? I'm feeling into it. Yes, Ansuz does. And so I'm feeling in this, before I even get to what this is going to mean for our second quarter of 25, is that there is a little bit of the Ansuz reversed energy that is like something that for us to regard, and but some of it isn't. It's like only a little bit of it, of the reversed meaning, is a part of what we're to be concerned with. So Ansuz is the word is referring to God or ancestral God, and sometimes it is interpreted to refer to Odin, because the Odin is that main god in this anthology, or this what's the word I'm looking for? The Norse spirituality. And so it is the rune of communication. I want to see, does it have a yes, it does have a reverse. Okay, I was right. I'm looking at just to make sure, because while I'm multitasking, sometimes I feel like I'm going to be off on whatever I'm bringing through. But anyway, Ansuz is all about communication and all forms of communication, but really has a lot to do with verbal communication. And so this period that we're in for April through June, I'm going to just start there right now, and then I'm going to feel into it intuitively. So April through June. All right, so we're moving into, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, our spring energies. And so I'm going to just talk about the Northern Hemisphere because that's where I am, and then I'll feel into Southern because we have an Australian here. So moving into the Northern Hemisphere spring energies and the communication. So we have a natural indication, a natural sense of wanting to start to bubble up in this communicative energy. But in April, it actually does seem to be kind of like still, I'm getting my feet under me. I'm starting to have that hope be something that is I'm feeling, and I might not be radiating it yet. So Spirit is taking me to talk about social political things, that there's actually going to be in a lot of, at least in the Western world, because I'm speaking English, so that's what we'll say. In the Western world, there's going to be a sort of like like just a status quo is the word we want to use, of just events. Things are kind of stay the same here, at least for the first part of this quarter of April. And we're going to kind of get back to business as usual. And the opportunity is now to not just let time and just the status quo, like to not become sedentary, not to just not capitalize on the benefit of things, but to take this time to use your inner light to appreciate. It's different than gratitude. Appreciation means let me be mindful, and by my mindful awareness of this, to create more. So the opportunity is to step out a little bit more, to really do more instead of maybe falling into some old habits or starting new habits that might not be as healthy for ourselves. Not to become complacent, to actually use this time to create a more elevated mindset and a growth mindset. That's what April part of this is all about. And then moving into May, we actually do, I feel they show me sort of a slight downturn of the energies, meaning like, okay, things are a little heavy, but things are still moving along just fine. It's almost like they show me that in May, it seems like time maybe slows down. It feels like time is slowing down. And it's a sense of trying our patience. And so the opportunity is to summon patience, continue to appreciate what it is that we have and what it is that we are creating and envisioning. And then in June, there's great opportunity. There's almost like a bit of a peaking of energy. There's a peaking that is, things are starting to happen a little bit. And then the cycles are carrying us through this. And then this is where the Ansuz, the communication energy, is saying, now it is time to express, communicate, come together. Remember that communicate, the root word of that is commune. So to come together in an exchange and reciprocal way of being able to come together and then create those miracles that we want to co-create together. So I said I would talk about the Southern Hemisphere because you are on the opposite cycle. So you're moving into the cooler months and the light starting to recede. And so then it's the same opportunity, and yet you're also being given the challenge in a little bit to summon more of your inner light, because your light of the natural world is starting to, it's becoming drier, colder, and darker. And so you have the same opportunities for the communication and the contemplation and appreciation. You need to call more of your inner light even more, while the outer light is kind of receding. So what else do we have to say with Ansuz? Ansuz also is wisdom and divine power, because the only true power is love. So then the only true power is divine. Even when we feel disempowered by an abuser or a bully or an event, that the only true power is divine. And so anytime we feel challenged by something that feels as though we're being overpowered, we call on our divine power. We call on love. So as I said, there was a little bit of acknowledgement that there could be some reversed energy. So once again, we are in April through June. We're in the second quarter. And so it is just the awareness of not being tricked by communication. It's the opportunity to notice if someone, let's say, is gaslighting us or love bombing us, or maybe if we're feeling communication from someone and we really, really, really hope that what they're saying is accurate and in integrity, but we have a sense that maybe that's not, either whether they're not being truthful or they're jumping the gun and they're being wishful, but it's not really resourced, how we're collaborating or co-creating. And so we just, again, slow down, look to our inner authority. Almost everyone's inner authority is slows us down. And to also and to call on patience even more. So it's the opportunity to build more wisdom by not being tricked. And so the trickster god Loki is where we have Odin. Oh, did I show you the rune? I don't remember if I did. Where Odin is the god that is communication and also that strength. The trickster, or the reversed energy, the trickster god is Loki. So we're just having the opportunity to pay attention to how communication is in integrity, and it is not something that is either being rushed or being offered inauthentically. So authenticity is what we are. I would cap that off. Authentic communication is what we're being able to harness in order to create miracles in the second quarter. And so let's see, what are some of the other energies? I'm going to look at my little cheat sheet here. Wisdom, discernment in complex situations, which is interesting because Hagalaz was success in difficult situations, challenging situations. And Ansuz in quarter 2 is saying discernment, like the discerning, whether we have a tricky communication in complex situations. So I would say, yes, I like this word complex. We are dealing with complexity in that second quarter, and finding a way to be grounded while we're dealing with that complexity. And this is enhancing our magical workings overall, because we actually do have a lot of resources here. It might feel a little confusing. That's why we need to communicate, to get clear about it. But we actually have a lot of opportunity to create from our magical workings. And so this might be a time where you're going to be moving into some dialogues or even public speaking. And so it's just basically an opportunity for more inspiration and divine communication, because this is all about communication in our second quarter of 2025. All right, let's look at what's going on. It's 8:30 a.m. in Australia right now, and it is 1:30 p.m. where I am in Los Angeles, California. And Alana also says that control is insidious. Let's let it go together. So y'all, the word insidious, thank you for bringing this to the conversation, Alana. That's what Loki, the trickster god, is. Insidious. Insidious, this word means that it's like a subtle trickery. It's so like sneaky, the tricking or the trouble that is being offered when something is insidious. So yes, thank you. So that's what we get to feel empowered about if we notice it and we don't react upon something that is insidiously being offered in communication. Okay, fantastic. I love it. I'm having so much fun with you guys. We're moving through the quarters really quickly now. And now we're in Q3, quarter 3 of 2025, July, August, September. Okay, I'm not going to turn the rune over first. First, I'm going to feel into it. July, August, September actually feels like a strong time. Whereas in, again, the Northern Hemisphere, our summer tends to be the time, or spring and summer, we feel really alive and like full manifestation. So we're more in the late summer and moving into fall or autumn, that we're feeling like, okay, things are okay. Okay, we're getting things done. Okay, we found our way back to the world that feels like I am empowered now. We found our way into the world where we've actually gotten over a hump, gotten over a slump. The communication that we did in the previous quarter is starting to work, and it's actually starting to sizzle and glimmer in beautiful ways. So before I break down the months, I want to look at the rune is Isa. Isa is the rune that it actually means ice. And so there are a couple of things that ice is offering. Now, we like ice in our modern world, right? It keeps our drinks cool. It keeps our food preserved. In the ancient world, in the world in which the runes were created, ice was kind of, is scary, because it meant that the crops couldn't grow and that we couldn't hunt because since the crops weren't growing, the animals weren't flourishing as much. So the flora and fauna were really challenged. It also meant that we maybe couldn't travel so much. So this, my read on this, where I feel like things are happening, it's because things have been happening by what we are doing. We are feeling really empowered while our feet might be standing on Isa, where there are still some obstacles, there is still some standstill and stagnation, and there might be a delay to some of the manifestations. Yet at the same time, we are well resourced to move forward on our own. Now, this one was actually reversed, but it doesn't have a reversed meaning traditionally. But I just want to keep in mind that what it's showing us, I think in the reversed, while it has a pure meaning, I think that we actually have a kind of dichotomy going on, where we're standing on a ground and in a cycle that feels like it's moving slow, which is what I felt in the last quarter too. But we are moving it forward and we are feeling strong and empowered on our own. It's kind of like what happens when eclipses happen too. We feel like the resource of the moon or the sun has been withdrawn. And so we're turned within ourselves. So there may be a delay in some of the manifestations. The opportunity is to keep going, keep communicating, keep feeling empowered. And, thank you. So Spirit's telling me to talk about something that has been like a teaching that has been on my foreground as a wisdom. And that it comes from this book called Art and Fear, or is it called Fear and Art? I think it's Art and Fear. And the parable here is about an art teacher who asked her students, she put them into two groups. She asked half of the students, she said, try to make the best clay pot. Just one, make the best clay pot. So all of the students each went about trying to make the best clay pot they could possibly make. She told the other group of students, try to make as many clay pots as you can. So one group was focusing on quality, and one item that would be quality. The other group was focusing on quantity, as many as they could make. So what we know is that obviously in life and in manifestation, if you will, quality trumps quantity. Oh, I did the wrong hand. Quality trumps quantity. This was the group on my side. that quality is more valuable than quantity. You know, you don't want a bunch of sushi, you want the best sushi. Like, ew, like sushi's always the thing that makes you go, ew, no, I don't want cheap sushi, or whatever else you might if you don't eat sushi. It's raw fish, right? So anyway, the interesting thing about this exercise, though, is that the highest quality came from the set of the most quantity. So quality comes from quantity. And that means that so of all, let's say there were 10 students here who made one pot trying to make it the best quality. The quantity group who made a bunch made the best quality. Not all of the ones they made, but one of them at least were the better quality, the best quality compared to the others. So this is what I'm feeling for this Isa and the energy of the collective at the time, is for us to keep moving through it. So that is particularly July through September. And it feels like that's the message here. In July, we start to feel a little bit of a standstill. It's like, wait, no, we have great new habits. So let's keep going and keep showing up. Keep showing up for your conversations. Keep showing up for whatever it is that you're doing for your magical workings. Keep showing up for the project that you're doing, the creativity. Summon your own creativity even more and more and more, and keep showing up. And it's a sense of being disciplined and moving through it. And then when you'll find that there is the opportunity for great breakthrough. There's a transparency to ice. So there's an opportunity to break through the status quo while we're maintaining it at the same time. We have a sense of being able to do protective magic or sovereign magic, and that we can actually allow unwanted energies to just fall away and just bring clarity to any situation. That's our energies for the third quarter, July through September. And I just see a steady arc of that to where it peaks in all of this that we're talking about in September. So now we are moving to the fourth quarter. That's October, November, December of 2025. And so our energies here, we actually I feel a great connection. I'm feeling like we feel love returning to our hearts, our homes, and that the sense of the relationships are so important. We have the opportunity to really enjoy the relationship we have with ourselves and to actively share that with our community, with our family, and to reap the rewards of where we went through challenge and then we went into ourselves to resolve chaos and conflict. And then we found a way to communicate our way through it with ourselves and with our fellows and with the universe. And now we're heading into this sense of being able to really feel loved and the capacity to give love. And so October, November, December, and our rune is Tiwaz. And it's this arrow. It's a beautiful masculine energy. And it is, so the warmth of the masculine energy. So again, with that sense of being able to, where is it in my book so I can also use my cheat sheet? Yeah, there it is. It's the beginning of this ayat, which is the runes move in 3 ayats, meaning 3 different sections, kind of like an arcana, And it's signaling that it is the opportunity to possess courage and to emerge victorious. It's about courage, victory, strength, passion. And I love this, like this love and passion, following your passion from this place of love, because courage is really key about this rune energy. And this again is October through December of 2025. We have the word courage, the root syllable of that is COUR, which is Latin for heart, right? In Spanish, it's corazón, and French, it's cœur. It is the bravery from moving from your heart and from your passion. So the heart has been through it last year and this year. And so now the heart is emerging victorious, strong, and the sense of the masculine energy of Tiwaz is we want to think of the healing masculine, the opportunity to step out and to take action. It's a beautiful energy, and it was reversed, but I don't sense that we really have anything to regard for the reversed energy. Right, okay, thanks. Because if we were to look at I'm saying thanks to Spirit, because they're saying if the reversed energy of Tiwaz, when it is notable, is that we want to be careful that we're not being influenced by toxic masculine energy, or there might be a masculine figure who is, not maybe bullying or tricking us. And so what is interesting is Spirit is telling me we've already dealt with that, and we're in the energy in the 4th quarter of feeling like we've moved through some of the toxic masculinity and the abuse that comes from that, and we're feeling strong and healthy, or that's the opportunity to feel strong and healthy in relationship with masculine and also our own healthy masculine. The energies of Tiwaz are success, victory in competitions or in challenges, just overall healing, the beautiful, warm healing of the masculine, strength and willpower, courage, healthy masculine energy, and just strengthening our faith, our spiritual faith. That is our quarter 4, October through December. And I would say do magic around these energies. Get into your manifestation energies and do the magic around that. Now, in this quarter is when we have our second, because it is October. Oh, no, sorry, that was the previous quarters. But it's actually at the end. Some of them are bridging over to this 4th quarter. In September, which is our quarter 3, which had Isa, but it also had the dichotomy of us feeling like we're really strong. We have September 7th and 8th, a lunar eclipse, and it's another total lunar eclipse. So this is another opportunity to dig into how my emotions are, I can resolve them on my own, I be very present with them. And when we get closer to that, I'll go ahead and look at those eclipses and those gates and give us more, advice or guidance about how we might do magic around it. And then September 21st, we have another partial solar eclipse. So that is then guiding us right into that 4th quarter that we were just talking about, with that healthy, strong masculine energy and the luck and success. There we go. That is our 2025. Oh, I did pull a fifth rune just as the overarching energy for the year, and it is Manaz. And Manaz, oh, I should put it a little bit closer to the screen there. Manaz is in the same ayat as Tiwaz, our fourth quarter energy. And Manaz is, you see how it, I don't know if you can see that, it looks like two like energies kind of making one another stronger. And that's what it's about. It's about humanity. And so this is, again, the overarching energies, humanity and depending on oneself, relying on oneself, and supporting each other. It's about the self as well as support, meaning receiving support and giving support, supporting ourselves and also asking for assistance and being of assistance. It's using our intelligence. It's being intelligent and wise and intelligent, like getting clear from an intellectual standpoint. And it can be about attention. It can point to the tension in a relationship, which I think we are seeing for this year at the beginning of it. You might feel at odds about certain attitudes or expectations of society. And rather, this is overall saying, listen to your intuition and be smart. And then use self-awareness and check in with yourself all the time. Starting physically, check in with yourself physically. Am I serving myself physically? Am I regulating my nervous system? This is what we talked about when I was live the other day or the last episode. And to be able to service ourselves physically, emotionally, spiritually, and physically again, by starting with the fact that we want to regulate our nervous system. So that is what Manaz is giving us for this year, or showing us as a theme for this year. And the magic that we can do with Manaz is cooperation, meaning we're asking for cooperation and we're being cooperative, taking us back to some of those energies of diplomacy, right? Increasing our mental agility. So we might be learning something new along the way, striking out into some new area of expertise and learning, maybe just even reading novels, because narratives are very informative and help us to process energies, or watching really great movies, maybe some old movies that are classics that you haven't seen or want to see again. These kinds of engaging in art for mental agility and acuity and growth, really powerful. This is why we make them. Harmonious relationships and success in academia, or maybe even legal issues, which seems to be significant for some people in 2025. Okay. Ooh, that was a kind of a marathon, a sprinted marathon. So tell me who's here. I want to say hello to you. Oh, good. Let's see. Lauren's here. Hi, Lauren. Thanks for being here. And Jody is here. So wonderful to see you all. Now, I want to invite you to check the description, because I have an angel guide workshop coming up on this Sunday, if you're watching or listening before we actually have this. And we're doing it in the Modern Mystic workshop. Modern Mystic is a subscription platform that I have. It's only $11 a month, and you get to come together live in community. For me, I will be teaching and servicing you. And then also there are people who are actually on, who said hello today, are in the Modern Mystic community, the spiritual community. And again, we come together for a workshop and a live guided meditation that I do twice per month. And you can't beat that $11 as a subscription. You could also just drop in for the workshop and not subscribe. But, you could subscribe for $11 and then, unsubscribe, because you can unsubscribe anytime. But we hope you join the community. So that's in the description. And I also have quite a few amazing courses. I have multidimensional mediumship. I have the Akashic Record Readers course. Now, these courses are available for you on demand right now. However, what you can do is make them live by adding also the Development Circle for Intuition, Manifestation, and Intuitive Ability Development. And that's my Sacred Sphere portal. We meet twice a month for that to practice your intuitive abilities. So if you, for example, want to learn mediumship, not just people mediumship, but mediumship like angel mediumship, ET mediumship, ascended master mediumship, you can take the course on your own at your own pace with the meditations and the amazing PDFs I have to say that we have in that course, and the deep immersive lessons. And then you come to Sacred Sphere and you can ask your questions and you can practice your new skills. So I just wanted to tell you this is what I have going on, and I'm about to make a big announcement of both a personal intuitive development program and a professional intuitive development program, really teaching some amazing things. So stay tuned on that. Ooh, you'll also find free gifts in the description here. There is a free gift, I think, for my animal intuitive course. It's a mini course that's free. And then also there's a higher self meditation, I believe, in the description. And that will sign you up for my newsletter, which is how you can really stay in touch with when I'm going live this way, any other free offers. When I'm doing a new live course and I have something like an early bird special, I pretty much only announce it on my newsletter. So anyway, you want to be there. Tiffany, Sunday is your birthday, Tiffany? Oh, well, thanks for letting me know. If you're coming, even if you come for a minute, we'll sing happy birthday to you. Well, I will. And it's a very humbling experience because I'm not a good singer, but I love when people sing happy birthday to each other. So if you're able to come, and if not, then the next time I see you, I will sing you happy birthday. Angela's birthday was the 13th. Oh, great. Oh, wonderful. Happy birthday, everybody. All right. That is our 2025 update, or forecast, really is what it is. I guess it's an update because it is January 17th and it's a forecast. You know what I might do is when I transcribe this, and yes, I'll transcribe this and make a kind of summary of each of the quarters. So what you want to do is you can come back to this and you can see what, I told you about the different runes as the overarching energies, and some of the other things like when the eclipses are, and those breakdowns, especially the ones that are coming up in March. So come back and check here. And also, again, if you subscribe to my newsletter, I will post it. I will send it out through my newsletter so you can take that away as a resource for this year. Well, that's what I have for you in this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I want to invite you to like, subscribe, share, comment, click the bell so you get notifications. And of course, take me up on my free gifts so that you can get those free gifts and then be a part of the newsletter. So that's what I have for you. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.